Like this, like one slide. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, like those pictures are. It's like this slide. I like this perfect tip. Like yeah. No, it's that it's like boy each per like no. I don't.
Oh, it's just another.
Everybody, we're going to get started at 5:15. We're not starting late. We intended to do our presentation at 5:15, so it would give you all a chance to meet with our interns, right? So here we go. Okay, so thank you all for coming. And what we're going to do is just introduce ourselves. And when I say ourselves, there's a lot of us that partner with this program. I'm Wendy Fritz. I work for Detroit Lakes Public Schools as our special education transition facilitator. And so we have two other staff from Detroit Lakes Public Schools, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So you go ahead.
Rochelle Isaacson, I'm the project search instructor.
And I'm Beth Hedstrom way in the back here taking some pictures. And I'm the skills trainer with Project Search.
And then we've got Audrey.
Marina Libby with Vocational Rehabilitation. I provide external supports ongoing. So once they graduate, they'll still be involved with rehab. My long-term goal is to get them into the world of work and being as successful as they can be in the world of work, and whatever steps that we need to do in Project Search or Project Life and beyond would be my role until they're employed.
And then we've got our job development services. Angie.
Hi, I'm Angie Liskey with Liz Side. I'm an employment specialist. I'm the job developer that I'm funded through the warning, so I'm the one that also stay on long term.
Yeah. And then we've got
I'm Jill Esser. I work for Becker County Human Services, and I'm a disability case manager with the agency. And so my role on the team is really just to make sure that interns are connected up with services after they graduate, if the intern isn't already connected up, to kind of help follow that process along so that they have all those things set up for success for long term.
And then we've got our host business thing is Julie.
Hi everybody, I'm Julie Core. I work here at Essentia Health. I'm considered the business liaison. So I work with all the other people that we just met, and I help make connections with the departments that host the interns and various other things. So it's so fun because the interns walk past my door every morning and every afternoon, and it's just fun to see their excitement each day.
And then, of course, there's the parents and guardians who are also a major player on the team. So that is the team that we will be talking about as we move forward with our presentation. So I forgot the main event.
Wendy.
I'm going to have the interns stand up and introduce themselves. We'll start right here with Kaden.
I'm Kaden. Hi, my name is Kaden Dunsbeck.
Hi, my name is Jared David.
Hi, I'm Zach Anderson.
Hi, I'm Amy Thomas.
Hi, I'm Cassidy Anderson.
Hi, I'm Gil Lipton.
Now, I just have to give a shout out. I'm not going to be talking much tonight. And so while I'm up here, I just want to say these interns have done an amazing job with their presentation skills. It's not easy to get up and stand in front of peers, certainly not a group of people, you know, a room full of people that they're not familiar with. So they have really shown professionalism and maturity throughout this project search, 5 months? It's not very much time, but lots of maturity. And if we had Tanner Goodwich slide in, we're just doing quick introductions.
Hey, Tanner Goodrich, I'm Senior Vice President of Operations with Essentia Health, and I'm the on-site administrator at this campus.
All right, thank you, everybody. Okay, now what is Project Search? Project Search, I think most of you are probably familiar with since you're sitting here. I'm going to go quickly through it so we can get to the exciting information. This is an international, we are international. It is in Australia, Canada, New Zealand,
Norway.
yeah.
Europe, oh.
Yes. So it's an international evidence-based 9-month program. We follow the school district's calendar. It's for students receiving special education services between the ages of 18 and 22 in their final year of eligibility. And what that means is they have completed their senior year of high school. They are between the ages of 18 and 22, and they are ready for competitive employment. That's what that means. Maybe they have finished their senior year and they're ready to apply to Project Search right away. Maybe they have spent some time with us in Project Life a year or two and working on those employability skills, and then are making the jump to apply to Project Search. Project Search is designed to be done with public education when you graduate from our program. So the goal is competitive integrated employment within 9 months following graduation. We want employment immediately. I think that's our local goal, but that's not always achievable. So Project Search's end goal is to have all of our interns gainfully employed 9 months following graduation. The definition of competitive employment is at least 16 hours per week, minimum wage or above, and like they are here, working in an integrated setting with their coworkers. A quick shout out to our last year's interns. We've got one intern who's working full-time at Sanford in Fargo. We've got another intern who's working full-time at Lake Shores, and another intern who's working close to full-time. 16. Okay, so full-time for me to Project Search at Lake Shores. It's a successful program. And this is just some information. Project Search actually started in 1994 in Ohio, came to Minnesota in 2009. So it's not a brand new program, but we brought it up to Northwestern Minnesota a few years ago. Well, last year actually. And we've had so much success. These are some of the Minnesota Project Search sites. They're not all in medical settings. There's some in hospitality, embassy suites, state of Minnesota, Medtronic. There's a lot of different options. What we need is the host business has to have 250 or more employees to partner with the school district. We were fortunate enough to partner with Essentia Health. They jumped on board right away, and it has been a robust collaboration ever since we started. We feel very fortunate with that. So I'm going to let Rochelle take it away. Yes.
Okay, so you heard it was a 9-month program. So I get to see them at the end and then send them off to success into adulthood. And when they start Project Search, we do a 3-week orientation. And they're always like, oh, that's the longest. They even go back and they remember being in the training room all day for 3 weeks. But there's a lot of orientation that is required on the Essentia Health side, a lot of things that we need to work on, some of our communication skills and the things that we need to do to be successful before we're like feet on the ground in the departments. They have 3 rotations. And what internship are you guys on now? The 2nd. Yeah, yep. And they're 10 weeks long. And then each rotation, they have 1 week off, and it's called a transition week. And you'll see pictures at the end on some of the things that we do in transition. Okay, we do have curriculum. So Project Search, it is a teacher's dream. It is an instructor's dream. There is a portal that comes with the investment that the school district provides. And then they, over all these years, have collected all of the curriculum with validity and reliability, and I have it all at my fingertips. And of course, then of the 25 years that I've taught, I can still then synthesize some of the things that I've gained and put together a wonderful curriculum. These are just some of the topics. We're actually on financial literacy right now, aren't we guys? Money talk. But we do a lot of other things, from communication skills and team building and self-advocacy, diversity, interview skills, problem solving. I'm trying to think of what some of our other lessons. We keep a binder, right? You guys we have all of our lessons in a binder, and it'll go with them. So they'll have it with them. Here's what your day looks like. Does that look right, you guys? They're trying to see. They come at 8, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready for their day, and they're in the training kind of. They have a little coffee first. They're in the training room for an hour. That's where we're doing our lessons. And then they head out to their internship at 9:15. So it's about a 2-hour workday in the morning. They have lunch. They do pack their own lunch. Okay. So there is a cafeteria, but they do have to pay. And it does require credit card, debit card only. It is not cash. So that is something that we like to see them come in with, some money skills of having their checking account and having a bank card if they want to use the cafeteria, which is it's kind of expensive, isn't it? Yeah. It's expensive. So you guys mostly pack your lunch. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then they head out, they go back out to work from, well, it's what? You guys have lunch from 11:30, most of you till 12, and then go from 12 to 1:15.
I have from 11 to 11:30.
Yeah, and so their lunchtime varies depending upon the department needs, but it's basically 2 hours of work in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon. So it is a 4-hour workday. There's a program that's prior to Project Search that's how many hours? That one's 2 or 3 hours. Yeah. So we're building up, and we want that work day stamina. They come back to the classroom, or which now we call the training room. It's not called a classroom anymore, and I'm not a teacher, I'm an instructor, so we changed some of that language when we get to this program. And we're wrapping up our lesson, and then we do our highs and lows and reflections on the day. And Beth and I can have individual meetings if we need to about feedback that we heard from managers and mentors. If we need to discuss some of their performance, we do that too. And then they go home. And if they can drive, they drive themselves. We do like to see them finding their own transportation, because we know that when Project Search is over, that's what they have to do once they leave this program. So some of them are using transit. Okay, so they are using transit to get home. All right, so this is both Maureen, this is Angie. This is where that whole partnership comes in. So yes, we are as Project Search working on that career development and job placement. But when we do that, we're molding as we go through each internship. So what I'm seeing right now, they come in and they're all like shell shocked, like, where am I? What am I doing here? Okay, what am I doing? And that first internship is, and then now we're on the second internship, and they're like, I got this. Yeah, but what do you want me to do? Okay, I'll get right on it. I got them even asking people if they can do extra work. And so there's confidence that we're starting to see. And then Angie is funded through vocational rehabilitation. And Angie comes out and sets up meetings individually with these interns so that she can have that one-to-one discussion about how are things going, what are you thinking, and thinking about what's out in the community that might match some of the skills and some of the interests that they're gaining here. Okay, of course, some of them have an eye on, and they are already watching the Essentia Health job openings, aren't you guys? You guys have looked to see which jobs are open and if it's in a department that they've been in and like. So, is there anything else that I missed, maybe? Transportation, we kind of talked about. Nice picture of Lakes Transit. Aren't we lucky to have that? Many of them, we have what, 3 of you, 4 of you that get on it every day at the end of it. 4 of you. So 4 out of the 6 are using transit. And I think that's about it for that. And then I'm going to turn it over to Tanner and Julie.
Yeah, so as mentioned, Tanner Goodrich, administrator in Detroit Lakes and senior vice president of operations for Essentia. So it's great I get to sit up here and talk about Essentia a little bit. We're a 14 hospital, probably over 100 definitely over 100 ambulatory sites across our entire market. Our main kind of, I'll say corporate office or flagship hospital is in Duluth, and the Essentia Health System was really born out of the Duluth Hospital, where we're sponsored by our Benedictine heritage. Essentia is unique in the fact that we're not 100% Catholic, even though we have a Benedictine heritage and mission and value statement. Some of our hospitals are Catholic, some are secular. We happen to be at one of our Catholic hospitals here, so locally Detroit Lakes. We do business as Essentia Health, Detroit Lakes, St. Mary's Regional Health System, for those that have been in the area for a long time. But we do all have one shared mission and vision across the entire system, and you can see that we're called to make a healthy difference in people's lives. And so that's why we exist. That's why we're here. And one thing that we try to impress upon the interns that come in through Project Search, they're a part of the team, and they're here and they're representing us when they're here and when they're in the community. So we certainly value all of our interns, and I think they do a great job representing us, not only in the facility but out of the facility. So that's fantastic. And then our aspirational aims. We want to have really good people, and I think we do that. And then zero preventable harm. We know, sometimes in healthcare, people are coming to us at times when they're unhealthy or they have issues, and sometimes a hospital isn't always a great place to be, especially when you don't need to be there, because things do happen and can happen. So we focus on high standard work, making sure that we're very process focused, and try to reduce as much harm as we possibly can, and then achieve health and vitality in our community. And I think there's lots of ways to do that. I think supporting students in a program like Project Surge helps us do that right here in Detroit Lakes. But we do that through providing really good healthcare services to a local community. I think we do that sometimes through large dollar donations to certain projects in the community. And then we have a large workforce. And one of the things I'm really happy and proud of is we incentivize sometimes through dollars for our employees. There's about 1,000 of them that roll up to our Detroit Lakes business, which includes like our Park Rapids clinics and all that. But we often have some of the highest participation and volunteerism throughout the entire system. So just some things that we are really proud of. Next slide. So we'll get into the departments. We have internships. We are a full service community hospital. So we're not huge. We're not like a major academic center, but we do provide pretty much full services, but at the appropriate scale for the community. And we've tried to start internships in just about all those departments that we can. We may have some opportunity. Last year, that cohort was our first year. So we were trying to work with our team to get on board. This year we've expanded our number of internships. Part of that is because we have more interns. We went from 4 to 6, so that's great. But you can see just really across the board, our med surg, our birthplace. You get into supplies and logistics, our long-term care. You kind of go to these. There are a lot of these clinical areas, and then registration, lab, administrative, imaging. So you kind of get a full, I think, hands-on experience throughout the hospital. If you've got an interest in a certain area, we pretty much have an internship for you. What I love to say about hospitals and health systems, it's really an ecosystem of just about every type of service. We're big, we're complex. Sometimes we're overly complex, but you can be an accountant and work in a hospital. You can work in really kind of manufacturing facilities or those types of things. We need you in a hospital. So we've got robust supply chains on top of all the clinical services that we provide. So you can really get a hands-on experience that even if it's not an essential and healthcare is not your ultimate goal, very transferable skills that we can help build here. I think we're going to get in a little bit just examples and pictures of some of our internships. So you can see we've got lab assistants. We talked about, last year we actually had somebody that in our lab, we were able to kind of have an ADA thing, and we were able to figure out, a headset and make sure that we're accommodating to the interns so that they can come and show up at work and do their best work. So we do, we'll accommodate, do whatever we really need to do to make sure that we have a great experience. Endoscopy. And so, you know, when you get into endoscopy, doing colonoscopy, and there's pain procedures and those types of things, just think about like, that's one of our really critical things that you do is, you know, we have to have a sterile field, you know, it's a high infection prevention area. And we have people, you know, helping sanitize and do bed turnover and those types of things. So they're learning real skills that make a difference in keeping patients safe. And then med surg and birthplace. And so each of these areas, we develop a job description. There's a department mentor that's named. And then, you know, the interns, they progress and they come on, and the skills that they're developing from day one through, you know, their rotations, which are what, 90 days, about 90 days. You see that progression, and they really do become parts of the team. And then we have great partnerships also, not just mentors here, but with the school as well. Just other examples that I won't go through all these, but environmental services, we have internships in nutrition services. Zach, I heard him mention his time for lunch a lot of times, because around 11:30 he's serving me and others as we come through the lunch line, and he does a great job with it.
I love serving this guy.
Thanks. And then patient access to guest services. So we have direct interface, right? We entrust a lot in our interns, and we try to develop their skills. So they're doing direct patient interface. They're talking to patients, they're calling patients, they're scrubbing charts, they're doing those types of things that are really meaningful.
Calling for rides.
Yep, calling for rides, absolutely. I get a kick. Zach, what he was doing is at the front desk, he was there maybe like 3 or 4 days, and everybody that walked in, he knew, right? He's very talkative, and you can tell. And I said, hey, you're like, I want to work here. I want to over. But anyway, yeah.
I don't want to work in Essentia Health, although that's probably not.
Yeah. And then we have a huge kind of post-acute care setting. We've got a nursing home, assisted living, senior housing area, and we do internships there as well. All right. Well, thank you all. Yeah, just more of the same. You're the same. You know, end up homemaker services, EDICU, and Oak Crossings are our skilled nursing facility.
All right. Before we do the intern question and answer, they're actually getting off a little easier tonight. They have already presented at the high school, and they did like the whole thing. And so, you know, we just wanted to give them a small part tonight, and the fact that they're here in an evening on their off hours. I appreciate you guys coming and showing your leadership. So
I was actually looking forward to dealing with this.
yeah, and right before this, we went bowling and had pizza, so there might have been a little fun prior to this. But I do want to point out what Tanner said. Last year we had 9 departments, and right now we're at 19. So, you know, that comes from the support of the administrative team and the whole Essentia as a whole. And so,
And a big part of it is
and the success
themselves.
yeah, the performance of the interns and showing that they are successful.
Well, let me share one other thing
Okay.
too. So this isn't necessarily here, but this has been a program that I think our sister hospitals have seen in certain areas, and actually the West Fargo School District is stepping into Project Search and has requested to work with Essentia Health in Fargo. So
And
certain-
the first one.
yeah, it'll be the first one in North Dakota. So
I had a meeting yesterday with the vocational rehabilitation of North Dakota, so they're very excited about
Great.
stepping on board. Yep.
great.
So good job, everybody. So,
Look forward to having them on board.
yeah, and those of you who are here that have individuals that are interested in this, just know that we really are not here to train them to work in healthcare. I have to keep reminding even the high schoolers that are hearing this, and they're like, I don't want to work in healthcare. And no, they're not here for that. They're gaining, you know, you saw a lot of the hard skills that they're doing in the departments, but with that, they're learning the employability, the soft skills, accepting constructive criticism, self-starting without being told. Yeah, he's already shouting out the acronyms for the communication strategies that we're learning.
Yeah,
But-
be more.
and then they get evaluated and they get feedback on how they're doing. And so then skills that they learn, if they don't want to work in a medical or they don't see anything in Essentia Health, it's transferable job skills, and we find that match for them. I also want you to know that we don't just drop them into a department We really do collect some information up front, some data of their interest and their skill level. And there's a way of putting it into a department that has a match with their skill and interest. Because if we put them somewhere that's too hard, they'll be frustrated, the department will be frustrated. If it's too easy, they're gonna get bored. And so we really do work on a match. Okay, I just wanted you guys to know that. So are you guys ready now? We don't require them to memorize their speech, but I do want you to know that they did prepare their thoughts ahead of time, and then they use this in multiple presentations, and so they do have some cliff notes with them. And so I just thought it was easier for you to hear from them. And I'm gonna start with Abby. And Abby, if you want to stand up and just tell them very loudly, what is your favorite part of Project Search?
Part of search, we like to get a meet to so many new people into the house. We become friends and teammates with the other interns. We are studying averages in terms and lots of lessons and help actions of working our goals.
So she likes that she's meeting a lot of new people. It's that networking. They learn that they're networking and they're meeting people and communicating with new people, and not always do we get to talk to people we're comfortable with. We have to step out of our comfort zone and do things that aren't comfortable. And that's when we grow. All right, Cassie, what advice would you have for future interns? I believe there's a couple in here.
That's Aiden.
Aiden, oops, it's Aiden. Sorry, you guys are out of order in your seats. Okay, Aiden, what advice do you have for future interns?
Don't be nervous to try something new as part of search. Coming to Russia, there is a safe decision for you to make. To learn more skills that help you get a great job afterwards.
And then you want to tell them their favorite part?
Yes, I got each month. The money.
So Aiden is a money guy, and he sees the value in money. And, you know, yes, we all work for money, but we also work for that connection with people. And there are other reasons that we hold jobs down. But right now through the state, which is Marine's program with vocational rehabilitation, you know, under the school system, there's a free breakfast and lunch. And so because of that, we are off the school grounds. They get a stipend every month for that breakfast and lunch. Okay, so it's money that goes into their account and it can help for that packing the lunches. They have to wear these scrubs, which cost money. If they need a new pair of shoes because they're on their feet all day. So it's some things that they need for the job in Project Search. So somebody asked at the high school tour, one of the teachers said, I had a question for you. And they asked you guys, they said, how many of you were nervous or you weren't sure about coming? And how many raised their hands? If you were nervous a little bit. And you all did.
I don't think
You don't know if you were nervous?
I don't remember.
Parts of your front back. And then someone said, do you regret your decision? Do you guys regret your decision or are you happy about your decision? Yeah. Do you remember what you said, Kaden? You want to share it with them? You want to stand up and share with them what you had a really good insight on how you felt from the beginning to now.
Well, when I first did skills assessment last year, which is a test to see what I'm good at, it was a little nerve-wracking for me. And when I first went, and during decision day, it was also nerve-wracking. But then I honestly don't regret that decision. I decided to actually come here after all.
And now what do you think?
And I think it's a great program. And when you first start at the bottom and work your way towards up, and maybe a dream come true.
And that was off the cuff, everybody. That was great. Thank you, Katie. Okay, now Lucy, we're on. We are on Zach. Why should someone apply to Project Search, Zach?
Well, Project Search is about finding what your future job is by experiencing 3 different internships to see what your skills are. We also learn a new vocabulary word each week that is about employability skills.
What's our word this week?
I think it's motivation.
Yeah, motivation. Yeah. So we it's motivation, initiative. Oof, I don't know if I can remember them all. Okay. Right.
And then one more thing, don't let your disability hold you back. In fact, your disability shouldn't be your weakness, it should be your superpower.
Yeah, and he came up with that on his own, and I'm like, you know what? That's exactly why we're here. We all find out that we have weaknesses, and we all find out we have strengths. And our goal of Project Search is to find out what those strengths are and then channel that and find that future that skill set fits and they can be successful. And we're seeing it. We see it here at Essentia Health. That's always awesome. All right, Jared, what is the hardest thing about Project Search?
It's hard to do things that make you uncomfortable. It's hard to do things that make you uncomfortable, like speaking in front of people. You gotta ease into it and have growth. You have to take feedback on your job tasks and things you need to improve.
And that's not easy, you guys. When they first come, and even now we've had to review it, haven't we guys seen that? And we only know what that word means because it's our strategy of how we accept constructive criticism. We've had to review it because at that age of 18 to 22 years old, they see it as like, oh, I'm in trouble, I did something wrong, I feel bad, or they're picking on me. And so we're trying to reframe that no, it's constructive criticism is meant to help you, not hurt you. And so we really do have to work through that. All right, we are on to Cassidy. Is Project Search like high school?
No, we are not in classroom all day. Now it's called a training room. We get to experience what a work setting is like. There's no homework, but it's expected that you take your work professionally and do your best.
Can you focus on that? Ashley has a question about the application, but it's coming up, so we'll move on and let them do that. Okay. Oh, wow, we're at this point already. Okay, I mentioned transition week. So between the internships, okay, so they do the first rotation 10 weeks, a week off. Second rotation, 10 weeks, a week off. And when I say a week off, you're not at home, sorry. You're in the training room all day with me, and we have a lot to do. We update the resume. We're practicing for interview skills because they interview with the next manager of the next rotation they'll have. They have like a mock interview. We review any lessons, we add in new lessons, but we have these up here because we also want you interns to know that we work hard, but we
Play hard.
play hard.
Play hard.
Such as when we went bowling, we had pizza today. So we do team building activities. So you're going to see some of this during our transition. We might go over to care. We're in walking distance to like Taco John's, Dairy Queen, and Care. But we don't do this a lot. But we treat ourselves at least once during transition week. We'll meet in the summertime so we can start some of our orientation and get to know each other. We bring in community speakers. And then we have this wonderful moment start. It's kind of cool when Beth and I are out rounding. We get feedback from the managers and mentors and all of the positive things that we hear. Her and I write notes. We encourage them, and they sometimes forget because they're busy working. And then right before transition week, they're like writing notes, and we all put them in the jar and we read them on transition week. And it's kind of like those feel good moments. I think there's a couple more slides here. Just some more holiday fun, positive attitudes. They found a quote that they'll take back home with them. We went shopping for interview clothes. All right. Who's up with this one?
Yeah. Mine's pretty simple. The application is going live as of today, and so it's all online. If you have questions, let one of us know. And if you want paper application, we can do that as well. But for the most part, it's live as of today, and you have to have everything in by the 21st for the application to be working. Is this fun too? Oh, I think we're okay. And then once it comes after the applications are in, then we have skills assessment day, which is March 20th. That's another big day. The people that apply come in, they'll get an appointment time, and we'll do it in groups. And we'll try out those skills. We'll have an informational interview with Julie and Michelle, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And so that's all part of it. And then when we're done, the steering committee will get together and make determinations on who's ready for the Project Search. So you all got this in handout. If you didn't get it, it's right by the door on the way out. Days to remember: today, the application, and March 20th. And everything's in the application deadline, February 21st. Okay.
Okay, how are we for time? Yeah. So, I always give these guys a bad time and they give me a bad time because I started a YouTube channel. And how many followers do I have? 28. So go out and follow me, people. All these adults, we're not YouTubers, but these guys are. And
You have
so
30 of them now.
I have 30 now. Okay, so they're keeping track of how many people are subscribing to the Project Search channel. So you can go out and you can YouTube and you can type in Essentia Health Detroit Lakes and you'll find it. Or you can do @Rochelle Isaacson and you'll find it. But all of the videos are on there, including videos of these guys at work. So we showcase and cover some of the skills that they're doing and do some recordings and upload it onto the channel. So we will show, we do that kind of show. Yeah, sure.
You go set the lead example.
Yeah. Okay. Kathy, and so she is at Oak Crossing Activities. That was her first internship. And so she actually spent days in the salon. She was so busy with all the ladies coming down. She actually learned how to set their hair and do rollers. First time. And she was like, oh, I learned how to do so much. And then she even made the activities calendar. It was manicures by Cassidy. So she's doing hair and nails. She did one-to-one visits and go to the rooms. Here's Aiden in the environmental services. And so he managed all the garbages on first floor. And the recycling, most of it came from nutrition services. Lower floor, sorry, yeah, lower floor. He really learned how to use mixed chemicals. I mean, you think that it's just cleaning, but it's really not. There is proper procedure and protocols and standards that you have to meet for a hospital and the protection to meet our goals for Essentia and a safe environment for patients and staff. He has his own set of keys. So he had to make sure he didn't go home with those at the end of the day. That's a huge responsibility, not lose them and leave them in the project search room and get off them. All right, here's Jared in lab. I mean, we put him right in the front. He's the lab unit clerk, answering the phone, transferring calls. He's like a phone, because most of them here was text. So the phone's still working on that was really interesting. He did some stocking of the carts in the lab stations. Chart scrubbing, making sure the doctor orders were in there and then sending emails to the doctors with a templated email system that would say, hey, orders are in for so-and-so, because they're looking ahead to get those orders in for the appointments. Here's Aiden, or Hayden in endoscopy, he's doing the room turnovers. And this is a busy floor. I mean, this is patients in discharge within a few hours, another patient in discharge. So it's with the rooms. There was an accommodation that we did for an intern saying room ready and I can't remember what it said, but to know if it was a room that needed turnover or if it was ready for a patient. They still use it even after we had an intern. Here's Abby at Oak Crossing Homemaker. So she's delivering meals, prepared breakfast and lunches daily in the homemaker kitchen and getting those out to patient rooms. And they have to be out within a certain amount of time. So time management and work pace becomes really important that we work on as well. And those are skills that can be transferred over, right? Time management, self-management of everything you need to do with your work pace. Zach was at guest services, so he was the face of Essentia Health. That is, you need to be able to have communication skills and that people skills. And so someone who, we do try that to match with who can handle being a lot of patient facing and who needs to be more in the background. He had deliveries that he would take to certain rooms. Patients would come and need a ride with transit or metro.
Oh, it was transit, minivan, transit or minivan.
Yeah.
Or I would even call their personal ride.
Okay. I mean, Beth and I, we're busy taking notes, you guys. These guys are learning, we're learning. We are part of the training. So Beth and I are part of the training. They start out with basic tasks. Then once they've got those mastered, we increase to the mid-level tasks, okay? And they also have stretch goals. If they make it in 10 weeks, there's some, hefty stretch goals too that they can potentially meet. And so Beth and I are rounding out there and getting feedback on how they're doing and retraining anything that needs to be done as well. All right, second internship rotation. Here we go.
If there's any questions.
Sure.
If there's questions, we'll take your questions now. If not, we've got another video, a short 3-minute video to watch of their second rotation. But are there any questions?
Or if you don't want to ask it in the large group, we can ask afterwards.
Yeah.
We just said that you apply online.
So just put projects research DL or.
I will send a link to Carter, and to you. Mhm.
I prefer to send it to their email.
Yes, yeah, email it, thank you. Mhm. Yeah.
I expect to see some of you next year.
Because you might be here too.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
may end up being in we may understand. I may even end up coming the day when they do the interview thing.
But we for sure will have you come back and speak, give all your wisdom and expertise, okay, to next year's interns. Because we are going to do that this year as well. We're bringing in the success of the stories from last year's interns to come and talk to these guys.
And they started an alumni association.
Yeah, they did. Projects, you go ahead.
Yeah, Project Search started an alumni association, just like any college, you know, and so it's again, an international alumni association that Project Search graduates get to be a part of, which is pretty cool. So we'll just watch this quick last one. Or maybe that didn't. Oops.
Oh, it was buffering.
You're welcome to stop by the training room too on your way out. Just stop by and I'll go stand by the room and we can talk in there too. So this is Jared. He took over the keys. It was an official handoff to environmental services to the keys that
It was
Aiden
almost
gave
like-
to Jared.
They did all of it in a proposal form. It was wonderful.
So there's lots of operating of different equipment. A stretch goal in this department, was talking with, the manager just recently, or Josh, that we didn't know what to call it. Jared, you called it a car, but it's the floor scrubber machine. So that's a stretch goal.
Aiden.
Okay, Aiden is in ED, emergency department, and then the ICU. And so this is a lot of room stocking, and I needed someone to be in there that, you know, there's a lot of action in this department, okay? And so, you know, you need to be able to handle all of that. And so he's going in and he is, in ED stocking rooms that there aren't patients, but then there's a stretch for him. He goes into ICU and he is going into the patient room. So that is patient facing and knocking on the door and, hi, my name's Aiden, I'm a project search intern. Do you mind if I stop your cupboard? And so, you know, it's having to do that uncomfortable thing with someone who's pretty sick. Here's Zach in nutrition services, blending in the back of the kitchen. He does a lot of food prep when he first gets there. And then he's on the food line serving foods. And just in the last couple of weeks, he is on his own all over the hospital delivering meals to the patient rooms. He was doing it with his mentor, you know, because that's how we start out, and now he's doing it on his own. Here's Cassie in the medical surgical floor. This is a shared internship. She starts her morning in medical surgical, and then she goes in the afternoon up to the birthplace floor. So she's working very closely. I've had someone say that, like, they thought she was a CNA, and she does get that. So then she needs to learn how to say, oh, I'm not a nurse, I'm an intern, let me go get your nurse. And she knows how to read the board that has the charge nurse and which patient is assigned to which nurse, which role. Here is Hayden in Oak Crossing Homemaker. And so you'll notice from when Abby was in the Homemaker to Hayden, there's a different covering that he's wearing on his head. So we had to do some accommodations because some people have a preference for certain kind of PPE, we call it. They didn't learn what PPE is, personal protective equipment. So there's a lot of things that they have to work through it. Katie's starting to deliver meals to us in there as well. Abby started with a brand new internship at Lincoln Park. And so she's in the housekeeping department over there. And this is a place where they're not tenants, they're not residents, they're tenants. So this is like their home. And so she needed to learn the very importance of respecting it like it's their home. And then you're cleaning their apartments. Or if someone moves out, she has to flip that whole apartment and get it ready for someone to move in. She's also responsible for the general area as well, the dining room, the lobby, the main bathroom. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, she's without a mentor because the mentor only works Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. So she has a checklist on Tuesday, Thursdays, and she's following her own checklist and doing her own thing. And we check in obviously with her, and she's got it down. So. Oh, yes. Okay, so if you have gone through the school system, you've probably been to some educational planning meetings called an IEP meeting, which is one time a year. When you're in Project Search, how many EPMs will you guys have?
Six.
We've had 3, but you will have 6. So we meet 6 times. And it's not an IEP meeting, it's an employment planning meeting. And so all of the partners that you see here, we will all be around the table along with the manager and or the mentor, whoever can come. And we give feedback. They lead that meeting. They do a slideshow. They talk about their work. They talk about their hard skills. They talk about what skills soft skills they've learned from employability. What are their future goals? What do they need to improve on? We have videos in those and they present those. So 6 of them. So we're pretty connected. And we get a good relationship, and I think that's part of why it works too. It's just we get to know each other well, and we meet often and prepare for the future. So, thank you guys for coming. Hoping our recording works in the back because we want to be able to upload that and send to others that weren't able to be here. And if you know anyone who wasn't able to be here, contact Wendy or I. And my goal is to be able to send that recording to them. Okay. We'll talk to them over the phone. Oh, one more thing too. Abby's parents said that this helped them. They contacted parents from last year to ask what the experience was like. Abby's parents said that any of you who are in here as parents, guardians, they welcome contact to them to ask questions about their experience with Project Search and any questions you have from parent to parent. So if you want that, I can give you their number and their email. Okay. All right. Thank you guys.
You want to get out of here?
It's 6 o'clock.
Because we have a slide for it all.
Yeah. All right. Should we give these guys a round of applause? Nate, it's very warm in here. Need your hands on the okay.
Okay. So she
I'm already learning this already.
Great job.
She's not wrong. That's not.
Yeah.
I was with her. I'm home.
Well, Rochelle did.
Go in the bottom.
Yeah, and your mom said that she'd be willing to talk to the other parents, right? Yes, Rochelle said she did. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Excited about that.
How are you doing?